So you have a tender rate and you love overlanding. You have plans to do it big on the trace and some super glamping. One ideas, deep news and reviews, a podcast the first rate and here just for you. You don't have to think about it, join us and be about it. Something interesting we want to hear about it, come on let's talk about it. Welcome to Waypoint Overland's Random Waypoints podcast.
Sponsored by MIDLAND, communication for every adventure. The industry leader in radio communication technology and innovation for over 50 years. Sponsored by MYMEDIC. Sponsored by TEMBO TUSK. Sponsored by Shower Pouch. Sponsored by DeMoss Collective, mission built and made for mobility. Sponsored by BrewTrek. Sponsored by Hard Impact Designs.
Always remember, the opinion you follow should be your own. Just consider the things stated here to be a second opinion from a complete stranger online.
We are sitting here in Hendersonville, North Carolina at the gathering. So I guess what I want to ask first, we'll get to all that stuff a little bit after, but how do you guys feel about the event that we're at now? Because it's so different than a lot of the ones that we've been to over the years.
Oh, yes.
So
very
both
different.
of you guys, what's your thoughts on the gathering?
Well, after the Overland Expo last weekend, I did not know this event at all. And when you invited me and told me what it was about and the mission of the event, I could not come here. So change all plans to come and discover something, a new community that I've been enjoying very, very much over this weekend.
Yeah, that was really awesome to discover something totally new for me who has never got the chance to did it before. That was really amazing.
As Canadians, so in case you couldn't tell by the accent, these guys are from
Montreal. Yep.
And so as Canadians, give us your perspective on this American. We've talked about this off camera, so tell us what your feelings are on this whole thing coming down here.
Well, for those who don't already know, seen the previous episode, the mission of the gathering is to get people from the Afro-American community out camping and doing outdoor stuff. So for me as a Canadian, I've traveled a lot through the US, but I never had the chance to be in any way in contact with this huge and very important part of the US culture, because I'm mostly here for camping and traveling and events, and the Black community just isn't very present in that world, which to me makes not much sense. So it's a whole part of the US I really did not know about. Like, I read about it, I know it exists, but never been in close contact and enjoying beer around the campfire with someone of a culture that is something I don't know about. So I was really glad to come down here and meet a whole bunch of new people and just be in contact with something new, because I like being challenged and open mind to meet new ways of seeing the world.
Did they treat you at least okay?
Oh yeah, I couldn't have been better. I had a great time doing this.
Yeah, that was amazing. Singing, dancing, and spending times with all this community was something really awesome. And looking forward to do it again.
Oh yeah, definitely. I'm going to put that on my schedule for next year.
Oh, yeah.
That's for sure. I mean,
let me ask you this question, guys, because this is sort of maybe it's a naive question, but like, is it somehow different in Canada though? Because we talked about the like the African American community not camping and stuff. I'm assuming it's similar in Canada, right?
It's hard to say, but I think you're right. Well, the community in Quebec, at least, very large part of the Black community is from Haiti, and so the history is very different
Because of the language.
because of the
This is French.
language
First, yeah.
and the community, but I'm pretty sure it's very similar, where a lot of folks won't go out camping and things like that. I mean, in Quebec, we have a whole lot of like campgrounds and RV parks and stuff like that. But if you go there, it will always be very, very white.
Right, right.
So I don't think there's a huge amount of people proportionally between the community. Like the Quebec origin people will go out camping and do stuff like this a whole lot more than other communities, for sure.
Oh, I was letting you rip, man.
I mean, I've never heard Phil. Phil's never been this quiet this long. So I'm looking at Phil.
So add to the.
I mean, as Vincent said, we had a pretty good band and some partying last night. So
Yeah, the dancing and all. This
Might
is
be a
just
little
something you don't see at like Overland Expo. There is a sense of community here. Plus, what I found is that there's a whole lot of people that are doing this, and it's very recent in their lives. There's not most of the people here at the event have not been doing this for 10 years, and a lot of them have told me, like, this is my first time camping out in a tent in my entire life.
Yep.
And they look so happy doing so. The smile on their face,
Totally.
dancing around the campfire last night. Like, usually Overland Expo, people are standing around the campfire, but they won't be dancing and enjoying themselves and doing line dances and things like that. I don't think I've ever seen people do line dances in my life. I mean, so
I think that's actually the highlight, I would say, that I've had over this weekend, is just seeing a bunch of people having a blast on such an informal level. Because oftentimes, many of these events that we go to are very structured, and this has just been super chill and able to, which is great after obviously doing last weekend. This is very relaxing.
Oh yeah, I enjoyed
totally.
it very, very much.
And hanging around with, like you said, newbies that don't have any preconceived ideas about what's right, wrong, or indifferent. About the quote overlanding world is refreshing, I guess.
What I also noticed that a lot of the people don't have like fixed ideas. They're new to this. They're trying to figure out, and a lot of them have very out of the box ideas. I was speaking to someone who was saying that she was using, because of the cold, she was using the blankets, like moving blankets that they use to move people, because they're very sturdy, they're thick. You can beat them up and they'll take it, and it's very warm. I was like, this is a great idea. It's way cheaper than one of these super expensive blanket or whatever that you have the tag Overland on them, like Overland blanket. Well, she got a moving blanket and it works just as great.
Yeah,
So I find these type of ideas, think outside the box, which I really like.
Yeah.
I'm all for do it yourself. Also, we see a lot of this here, and lots of people have very good questions and seem to be focusing on the right question. I mean, I was really impressed by the level of people at that getting prepared for this and learning new stuff. It changed my perception quite a lot.
For sure. So you guys, we're going to get to your company that you've started, WAYOUTBOX, but I want everybody to understand, like, how did you get into the overland world? And like what has gotten you guys here? Obviously, it's your travel. So Vincent, also talk about where you've gone and what you've done.
At the age of 35, my life changed quite a bit through my father's passing at a car accident. And from there, it challenged what I was doing in life and why. And I needed a sense of adventures I was doing back when I was a kid. I was very outdoor person when I was a kid, and I would canoe camp and spend all my summers in campgrounds and things like that. And I became very sedentary and worked behind the computer, all my hobbies being at the computer, till I was about 35, and then took a trip in Jamaica and had a tour with a 6-wheel drive old military troop transport kind of thing, and I had a blast and came back home and just decided I needed to put adventure back into my life. And that led me to start doing four-wheeling locally until the day that I stumbled upon a word that wasn't yet still everywhere, which was Overland. And as soon as I stumbled onto that word, I knew instantly, this is what I want to do. I want to see things. I don't just want to go over rocks and mud piles or mud holes. I want to see the world. And so it pushed me into just starting from ground up, knowing not much like most of the folks here at the gathering, and started building I decided I would be leaving on the 1st of May of that year for the Southwest for a 4-month trip. I built out a whole camping setup, and I just left for a couple of months. And
what was that? What was that vehicle?
It was a Ford Raptor with a trailer in the back of a company I believe does not exist anymore. It was what was the name? Kempa. And so I traveled with this for a while, and then started building stuff. I started really enjoying building stuff. So I became my passion to research everything about how you build vehicles, of different type of vehicles, and why do you use a trailer, why do you use a big rig, and why do you use a van, and how do you insulate them, power them, plumb them, and what type of gear to use and why, and what does it matter, and suspension, and you go all out to go across big obstacle, or do you want reliability? And I've spent the last 10 years of my life studying vehicles, expedition type vehicles, and why and what's good with them, which slowly building different type of setup. I've had a Ford Raptor and a trailer, and then I took the back of the pickup and replaced it by a unit, an aluminum unit with roll-up doors that I self-built, and got rid of the trailer. Then I built a Mitsubishi Delica. I've had a Pinzgauer. I've had a Mitsubishi Fuso camper that I fully built. And so that slowly led me to acquire a lot more skills and to finally reach the point where I felt confident that I could professionally start building vehicles, and had this idea of the Wayout camper. And so I've worked tirelessly since during COVID and throughout, more seriously since May, to get to the Overland Expo last weekend. And the company was basically officially launched last Friday at the Overland Expo. And I'm pretty happy because it's a very good response. So,
Alex, how did you guys know each other originally?
I think that was by my father.
Yeah.
What was it? Almost 10 years ago. I think that was 2016.
It's been a while.
Yeah.
Guillaume, who is his father, is one of my friends that one of my friend calls my alley friends, because I've met a number of people in the alley behind my house. They just come by, and we start talking about trucks, and they end up being good friends. So those are my alley friends.
I was trying to figure out this connection here.
Yeah, and so Alex is the son of my friend Guillaume, and he's a very skilled guy. So when it became harder, and I had issues and troubles building the company, I basically called him up to the rescue, and he came to rescue me.
Directly from France.
Directly from France at great cost to him also. And I mean, he's all in now, I'm pretty sure.
Yep.
And
So let's not gloss over that highly skilled thing. Let's cover that.
yeah.
Share his resume real quick, or Alex, you can share it yourself if you like.
So first, I'm gonna cover real quickly about the overlanding stuff. So my father is French, and it all began with him basically. At the age of 20, he and his father just put a rooftop tent on an old Citroën, and they went across the Sahara, basically, from France. They did it back and forth.
What year was that?
Oh, that was in 76, I think.
Back when it was
An
real.
adventure.
It was
right?
real,
A serious
real.
adventure.
Right.
And my father kept this rooftop tent. When he came to Canada, he bring it with him, and at the age of 12, we basically put that old rooftop tent on top of a Chevy, and we went exploring the Quebec, and that's how it began for me. So as I was a kid, I was driving around in the Canada and just exploring stuff. Then I got my driving license, and I basically bought a Ladder. Actually, I bought a couple of them to be able to have one
Russian
in a
Ladder.
good shape. Yeah.
Really?
And I slowly evolved to something that was more practical, let's say. And yeah, that's kind of it.
I didn't know about those ladders.
Oh yeah. Oh my God.
I guess those are going to teach you how to be a mechanic.
I'm going to
Really?
say they
well.
make a Land Rover seem good, I think.
Oh,
Oh
yeah.
my God. Yeah.
So, and then your work experience after that, because you've done some fascinating work stuff too.
Yeah, well, I'm a car mechanic. So I began at Montreal, and then I switched to France. So I have a pretty large experience about it. I've done some luxury car. I've done some electric cars. And I mean, I even worked in a scrapyard during COVID, because it was a hard time, and
That's
yeah,
you to me also.
that's a large experience in all this mechanic stuff.
Yeah, Alex is being humble here. Truth
Yeah,
is,
come on.
just
This is a podcast. We say everything.
Oh,
Let's
yeah.
go. Come on.
yesterday evening, we walk up to a food truck that's here at the event.
Oh
The
my
hood
God.
was open. Alex looked over under the hood. Within about 5 seconds, he identified a mechanical issue just by looking at it. And he just got a knack for this. He was going to pinpoint the problem. Even the owner of the truck did not know about it. It was like, oh, thanks. That's why I'm having issues. Like, it took him seconds to spot it. So he's being humble
Thank you,
here.
Vince. Thank you.
When I say he's got great skill, he impresses me frequently with his mechanical skills.
So let's talk about WAYOUTBOX,
Yeah.
and maybe we'll even be able to give you guys a little bit of,
Show it off.
scenery of it here.
Yeah,
But,
yeah.
So you basically, I'm going to give you what I think it is, and you correct me.
Yeah.
But to me, they've built this platform that goes on the back of a truck on a flatbed.
Yep.
And it's you sleep inside of it, and it has all your storage and everything next to it, right? So tell us about the concept. What makes it different, and what are the cool features? Because they're really cool.
So first, people who are listening to this as an audio only, if you're interested in seeing the vehicle, go over to the YouTube channel, and hopefully I will have added some B-roll of the vehicles while we're talking.
Or go to wayoutbox.com
.com.
as well.
Yeah,
and you can take a look at
wayoutbox.com.
pictures.
Instagram, Wayoutbox also. And Facebook is just Wayout, I think.
So tell us about the platform.
So basically, we call it a teardrop trailer that sits on a flatbed. So, the main concept is that instead of pulling the trailer, you just carry it. So it leaves you room to bring a trailer if you want to carry kind of a motorcycle or anything. And it's not dedicated to camping. You can still remove the box and use the flatbed as you would use a pickup truck.
Yeah, you removed the camping unit just as you would a slide-in camper on a regular pickup box. But instead of having that pickup box, that's the American concept of pickup box I never really understood, because the first thing you do in your experience with a pickup box is you lower the tailgate and get yourself 2 feet away from whatever you're trying to get.
Right.
While the concept of a flat deck or flatbed has been extremely present for a number of years in Australia and Africa, because they're way more practical.
It keeps it a little bit lower.
Yeah.
And don't have the walls for the pickup truck that are in the way of everything.
Well, you can still have walls that are like fold down, so you can still have a box that's closed, and so it allows for a small, nimble camper. It's very lightweight, and you can put it on, remove it, and we also offer, or will be soon offering, a toolbox. So you can have a full system where you have a camper, you have a toolbox, you have a flatbed, and so Friday you can take off the toolbox, put in the camper, or you can go to the job site, drop the toolbox, go pick up some plywood with your flatbed, come back, and put the toolbox back on.
Right.
Really versatile.
Yeah, it offers, it's like having 3 trucks in one.
And these are made, you're fabricating them, these are aluminum based?
Yes and no. It's an exoskeleton that's aluminum, but the panels is aluminum composite panel. Yeah. So it's much lighter than aluminum. That allows us to make a camper that when it's dry without the storage units, it's around 350 to 400 pounds. And fully equipped, it can go maybe up to, I haven't weighted it with all the equipment, but it's somewhere around 700 pounds. And we're talking like 26 gallons of water and 400 amps of lithium batteries in inverter.
For a full setup on a full size.
Full setup with a big fridge and all. So a lot of gear. Everything you would see in a fully equipped slide-on camper or really well-equipped trailer, but all in a very small package that barely affects the capabilities, the off-road capabilities of the truck or gas mileage.
So now for people out there, what vehicles are we talking about that these would go on?
They go on pretty almost every pickup since you have a frame and it's not a unibody. Basically, you just have to remove the box behind the cab, and it's available in 3 different sizes. So it can fit on small pickup as the Frontier, Tacoma, Ranger, or the biggest one can go on the full-size pickup trucks. So it all depends on the one you have.
I guess that's what I'm getting to. To me, it seems like an advantage because a lot of competition out there is vehicle dependent, right?
Yeah.
So they have to make a certain box to fit, a certain truck. But when you're working with just a flatbed, it doesn't make any difference.
It doesn't make sense. It doesn't make any difference to us what pickup. It's not specific. But you could even take the 8-foot box and install it on a 6.5 box
footbed truck
pickup. You'd be extending, but the flatbed sits relatively high, so it's going to mess up a bit with your departure angle, but it's not like the truck can't do it.
Right.
Totally.
So if you ever have too much mileage on your truck, crash the truck, God forbid, you can easily swap it. Or even if you when you do the setup, you keep the original box. By the time you want to change pickup, you can just put your box back in, sell it, and keep your old setup. It takes about maybe half a day to swap the unit from one truck to the other. Yeah. And it doesn't even have to be the same brand. You can take it from a Ford and put it on a Ram. Doesn't really matter.
Totally.
Yeah, I mean, that to me is what it seems like. It's a very flexible option.
Yeah.
What you guys are going to offer it with a multitude of different options? Is there a base, and then there's going to be add-ons from there, or how's that going to work?
So the base model is it comes with the sleeper. The sleeper is either 48 inches wide or 60 inches wide, depending on your need. And basically, the rest of the space is used for cargo. So depending on the size of the unit you take and the size of the bed, you'll have plus or less cargo space, and we can deliver it with an empty cargo. And so we only will install the frame for the cargo, and it's a simple, well-known T-slot system type of extrusion, and we can offer all the technical advice, resources, website where you can get all the parts for T-slot and make your own cargo, because I figured out over time that there's no way you can make perfect cargo that will fit everyone's need.
Right.
And everyone's need over time. So you get a new piece of gear, it might no longer fit in your vehicle.
Yeah,
right.
With the T-slot type of system, you can easily change it to your need. Like a lot of people know the T-slot system through the main website that does it, which is 8020.net. It's a great, versatile, lightweight system, relatively cheap for what it offers. So that would be the basic model. Right now, we price it at $25,000 for the base model, and it can, well, with all the option, you could double that.
Right.
Because
now, when we say options, are you guys going to outfit stuff with the electronics and the water and the refrigerator kind of systems, or
on the base system?
Where does it end?
On the base system, there's no electrics.
Right, but I'm saying with options.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
We can like in the two demo truck we have, one as just a EcoFlow power pack, portable power pack, which works well because that one only has one fridge and LED lights, and that's the only electrics in it. So the power pack works well. And the other, the F250 model, it's got a full-on like water heater, water pumps, and much more lights and inverter, so that you can have like a regular Nespresso coffee machine.
And Starlink. Nespresso and Starlink. Very important.
Oh yeah, Starlink, definitely. That's my next upgrade on that truck. A Starlink will go on. So this one has like 400 amps of lithium batteries. It's got 480 watts of solar panel. It's basically, you can't kill the electrics on that truck. So we offer those options too. And we can also, on the bigger version, install those systems and still leave the cargo up to the customer, or make shelving and include the boxes and things like that. We're trying to be as versatile as possible. The other customization you can do a lot is on how it looks.
Yeah.
The material that we use is can be left as is in white, but can also be painted, color matched to the vehicle. It can be wrapped. It can be veneered with true wood. And all those options are available to the customer. For us, it doesn't really change much the way they are. So any surface could be any color you want, up to wrap can be printed. So sky's the limit on what you want. I mean, you want your dogs with wings flying over the Himalaya 8 feet by 4 feet, we can do it, no problem.
Well, mine would probably need to be orange, I'm guessing.
Yeah, well, the roof of the F-250 is orange. Yeah.
So, have you started working on the next one, or are you still focused on this very first one?
Oh, there's already, I mean, those are demos. So I often joke saying these are the 2 worst units I'll ever build, because that's the truth. So yeah, the next phase of design is building our own flatbed. These ones are bought. So the box was kind of had to be adapted to the flatbed, but I want to do the reverse.
So I obviously have had the benefit of looking at this. So explain to them out there what that means, because essentially, in layman's terms, the way I look at it is you're building a box that goes into a flatbed receiver, kind of, right?
Yes.
Yep.
Exactly. So the flatbed that we use is good, but we had to adapt to it and not have. So it's not a full system as it is without the flatbed.
Yep.
The flatbed is already designed. It's on paper. It's just before the Overland Expo, I ran out of time. So
ultimately, you're going to build your own platform.
yes, the full system will be
Exactly.
built in-house by us.
Yeah, I got you.
So the idea is to have a flatbed that's way easier to install on, so that you can. My goal is that it takes less than 10 minutes to take it off or put it back on.
Yeah.
And very little trouble
And
to
your
do
mounting
so.
points are going to be at the corners, the four corners.
Exactly.
Exactly.
Rather than, so there's nothing to line up
Yes.
when you
Totally.
drop it on.
I want to. The system is something that will. You can only push it because it's so lightweight. It's not like those big 900 pounds and 1,600 pound slide-in campers. So
as a person, how would I get it on and off the truck? Like, explain that.
you
On the, let's say on the one right in front of you, you basically have to remove those 4 tie downs at each corner.
Yeah.
You put the jacks, and
When you say jacks, you're talking about like camper jacks? Like
kind of.
corner-
We are still looking for the perfect jack, because those camper jack are usually made out of steel and are really heavy,
Heavy,
for kind of nothing, because they're basically made to support some bucks which are way heavier than our.
Yeah.
not only that, but slide-in campers usually the legs that they use, the jack they use, as a
Super-
very long travel
Yeah.
because they want to get them down to the ground.
Mm.
Our unit being only 48 inches high, if you get it down to the ground, you'll have to get on your knees to go in.
Yeah.
So we only need about 8 to 12 inches of travel. So we make like aluminum legs with electric actuators that don't have to go, so they can be way lighter to carry around also.
Yeah. And so the goal here is, as Vince's was talking about, to be able to remove the bucks in less than 10 minutes. So since the tie downs are removed and the jack installed, there's no really connection between the trucks and the camper box. So you just raise the box and you can remove the truck from under it.
Right.
You have one electric connector to undo.
Yeah.
That
And
it's used to power, to use the alternator to recharge the electric system.
Right.
So it's pretty quick to take, even as is, without the next generation system. It's pretty quick to take out. It's
So
very
here's the
easy.
big question. We're sitting here October 2022.
Yeah.
If I want to buy one of these, when are the first ones coming out? When can I get them in my hands?
About 3 months, because we're still starting, so we don't know how many we will have to build, and we need to order some parts and things like that. So the leadway for the first unit to come out of our shop, it would be approximately in February.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. So we're gearing up to build around. I've planned it out so that we will limit ourselves to 24 units. I don't want to get slammed, and I don't want to make promises that I won't be delivering. I know that has happened in the past, and certain companies have taken money from people as cash downs and failed to deliver, and some cans I've heard horror
We don't want to be
stories.
in this position.
Yeah, of people
Definitely.
who got their pre-order canceled and told, well, if you want to keep your build slot, you'll have to pay us 10,000 more or something like that. I don't want to be doing this.
Right.
So tell us about your warranty, or what guarantees you have on the vehicle.
There is the warranty. Well, I trust the product completely, so 12-month definitely on any parts of the vehicle. The way it's built, it's a lot of effort has been put into making sure that everything is solid. My experience is a lot of off-roading, and I like driving fast. That's why I had a Raptor before. So everything has been taught so that it can take the flex. I've worked with a number of companies to select the materials, to select all the adhesive. A lot of research and development went into this. So definitely, I'll stand behind my product fully, basically forever, because that's just who I am. So if something fails down the road, I'll definitely, it's my full intention to be there and support and fix any issue that can show up. Definitely.
That's awesome. That's awesome.
I'm all about, I've worked my entire life before that in customer service. So to me, it's extremely important that the company supports fully their product and get behind it. It's not just a question of, oh, your warranty is expired. I mean, I'm going to be out there helping people if something goes wrong, regardless.
Absolutely awesome.
And you mentioned, and looking at them, that they're rugged. They're built rugged for off-road use, and I could just simply by taking a glance, I can. What's nice about the unit is it keeps your total height on the vehicle fairly low.
Yes.
There isn't a big overhang. I'm seeing that from a departure angle standpoint.
Yeah.
They're not. They're unlike what I would tell you that I see anyways with the I call it the American style drop-in camper. They look like they're I don't know, like pregnant whales, sort of. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
They're wide, they're overhanging.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Heavy looking.
Oh yeah.
I mean, this looks nimble to me.
Yeah, well, it was born, actually. The idea came about during a trip when one of my good friend out in Colorado, who owns a number of rigs, from the tiny AMC Eagle with like a full-on four-wheel drive system that goes anywhere, with a Jeep, up to having a huge Ram. I think it's a 2500 Ram with a pop-up camper on it. And we were down in some gnarly trail in Moab, and I was using my F-250 that had a different setup than this, but it was basically a fiberglass topper with a rooftop tent on it. And my friend kept saying, oh, I wouldn't take my Ram here. I wouldn't take my Ram here. I mean, I'm in the same size pickup as he is, and the main difference was that his camper's just too big. And it's one of the smallest on the market. It's a small pop-up camper, good quality one, but it's wider. It's wider than the truck. It's higher because the pop-up is there, so it goes over the roof. It's just a couple of inch higher than what I built. But he kept saying that, and during that trip, I met a lot of teardrop campers passing us on the road, and I was looking at them. I said, "There's no standing room in there," and teardrops are highly popular. A lot of people don't mind not being able to stand up in a camper.
But they're a trailer.
They're a trailer, and I've had a trailer, and I've hated the experience. It limits you quite a lot in where you can go and what you can do.
Absolutely.
So it wasn't for me.
Right.
But I like the size. So basically, I built a teardrop-sized camper that I put on a truck. Instead of pulling it, I carry it. It's the same size as a teardrop, but you don't have that trailer behind you. And it's also lighter than most of those. Because a lot of the teardrops are made with traditional methods of
steel frames sometimes.
Steel frames or aluminum frames.
And you got a whole other axle of weight.
Oh, yes,
Totally.
you have an old
And tires and
the
everything else, so-
tongue, and very often the way they build. I built this using techniques that can take the flex. I basically went the way of if you want to fight the flex on a camper, you need to make it sturdier and heavier. So instead of taking that route, I built a camper that can take it, that can flex without it having any issues. So it's all high-grade rivets. It's all high-grade adhesive. I've worked with 3M to develop the proper mounting techniques. The 3M had my parts in labs, in their labs, to figure out how better to do this, the proper type of adhesive, primers, and installation techniques. And everything is designed to take the flex. So even if it flex, it doesn't matter.
Right.
So it allows to make it way, way, way lighter. Which is why we have an empty box at 350 pounds. Plus, you put it on a flatbed, and the flatbed is usually lighter than the original bed.
Yeah, because it's all aluminum flatbed. We forgot to mention it.
The flatbed in comparison to the pickup back.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
The best example is the Tacoma. When we removed the traditional bed that was on it and we install a flatbed, we gain 120 pounds. So it's definitely lighter.
It's
and
a big deal.
we can't even compare on the F250 because we basically removed the box with a lift.
There's no way we would have removed the box by the two of us.
Right.
And we installed
we
a flatbed.
installed the flatbed by the two of us.
Yep, just by hand.
And I've got back problems, and lifting
Yeah,
weight is not a
he's
good
right.
idea for me. And I wasn't worrying about installing that flatbed.
Yeah.
Two of us, like no problem. Lift it, put it on. That's it. So if you want to take it off yourself and move it to another vehicle, it's pretty easy because you can drop the camper, so you remove most of the weight.
Right.
And then you can take the flatbed and just put it on the other truck. The main problem will come with removing the original box because it might be very easy. You might need a few friends to do that.
Yeah.
Especially on the full size pickups.
Yeah.
You know, older ones with all steel and things like that. So it makes for a big change.
Very cool.
Any other question?
I can't think of something that I need to ask. You covered a lot. I'm excited about the product. I'm excited about the future for your product. It looks like it's very well thought out.
Oh, yeah.
And with the configurations that you described, it just seems limitless, the amount of applications it could be used to. I'm even seeing applications beyond just overlanding. Vendors who are traveling, events. I could think of medical situations where a secondary vehicle.
Yeah.
I'm also envisioning it as teams that are traveling together.
Definitely.
Having one as maybe the mess hall, one being, having individual duties.
Yeah. I built this from the ground up so that it's possible to customize without us doing customization. For us, it's the same thing. Someone was asking the other day, could I have 2 sleepers instead of a sleeper and cargo? It's like, sure, no problem. For us, it changes nothing. It's actually cheaper because our huge cargo doors are pretty expensive.
Right.
And so putting a window and a sleeper door is cheaper than those doors. So
Really?
it would actually be cheaper for us. And I've got some ideas, crazy ideas, because you could put this on something else than a pickup because you need a flatbed. So any vehicle that has a flatbed, you could put one of those on a trailer if that's what you want. There was a guy here asking us, could you pile 2 campers on top of each other and put it on a trailer? Yeah, sure. It's designed for that. So
And the way you have it designed, it's still not going to be that high.
Right.
it's going to be 8 feet high.
Right.
Yeah. And we're working on a new version because we've had a lot of requests for a camper on a Jeep Gladiator.
Yeah,
And
really.
for the Jeep Gladiator, I'm thinking of lowering the roof by a few inches, not make it 48. Remove that feature because I didn't mention it yet, but in the camper, one of the feature is that the mattress is in 3 segments, so you can pile up and make a bench where you can sit.
Yeah.
And at the Overland Expo, there was a guy that came to visit the booth, and he was a really big guy, like really tall, football backliner kind of guy. And he was joking with his friend, like, watch me, I'm going to climb in there and show everybody how small this thing is and not for me. And he went in there, and it was in bench configuration. He sat in there, and he was like, oh, I actually fit in here. He was very surprised. So lowering the roof would remove that feature, but you still have a bed with hard walls, contrary to rooftop tents where you cannot lay your back against anything. It becomes very hard to, I don't know if you've ever tried to watch Netflix in a tent, but it's kind of a joke. You end up having back problems. And
Or even read a book.
Or even read a book. You end up lying on your side with your laptop turned sideways and crazy things.
Asleep.
So having a hard walls in every direction, you can put your back against it. So even if we end up making that version for the Jeep Gladiator, would probably make the roof a little bit less so that it's even more nimble for off-road and not put you any make it less difficult to go around obstacle, especially in wooded area and things like that. We're from Quebec, so trails in Quebec, they have trees.
Trees, yeah.
Yeah, it's not the Southwest and Moab, so you need to think about what you're bringing in, camping in.
So I know one of your goals on this trip was to get some pretty pictures of the vehicle and some pretty places and stuff like that. Plus, you're also getting some more
Visibility.
but also you can still get an opportunity to test it a little bit.
Oh, yes.
Totally.
Do you have any trips planned, or you to take these mules or the
Definitely. For one of the units is probably being remade fully. The original one, the very first one we built, it will probably not be at Overland Expo West, which is the next phase of development and aiming the months from here to then will be involved in. So the other unit will be in rental at Outdoor Elements out of Fruta in Colorado. It's going to be in rental, and I want to offer a program where people can fly there, rent the unit, go out, test it out, and if they like it, we'll reimburse the cost of the rental. So,
oh wow, I like that.
Go out, test it, and
Use it.
Yes.
Figure out if you, because there's no perfect setup. My setup's not perfect. It does not fit everyone's need. Every vehicle is a long list of compromises, and you need a vehicle that fits the kind of trip you want to do and who you are.
I agree.
And so I stand behind my product, but it might not fit everyone's need. I mean, there's no inside showers, there's no toilet. So if that's important to you, you're not getting it in this vehicle. So I encourage people, go out, test it. If you like it, buy it. And if not, well, maybe you have a friend who it fits to.
So I would love everybody to take advantage of that. I think it's an excellent idea. But everybody's not going to have that opportunity.
Of course.
How do we get more information about this? How do we talk to somebody knowledgeable about these vehicles if they have questions? Where do they reach out to you?
Website is WAYOUTBOX.com. The easiest is email through info@WAYOUTBOX.com or Instagram for pictures, WAYOUTBOX. And call me or Alex and ask any question you want. We'll be open to answer every one of them.
Is there something in ending you'd like to say to the audience?
Well, good question.
That's a good one.
You put me on the spot here.
I sure did.
That's okay.
I wants to say what I always say: just get out and do it.
Yes, that's the main thing. And figure out what you need. And like this event here, I was glad to be here and see all those new faces and people figuring it out. It's a great community. I've been in the Overland world for about 10 years now, and there's no greater community. I just love it. It's my passion. I do this. Obviously, I'm doing this to make money because it's a business. It needs to be working, but I do that out of passion first and foremost. And Alex too is we do this because we like it. We go out
really
there,
love
we
it.
do stuff, and this fits us very well. And I'm certain it's going to fit a whole lot more people.
Alex?
I think Vince says most of all. Just feel free to contact us, and if you want to go test it out, well, it's available. I mean, go ahead.
Here we are. Way out.
Thanks, guys. Thanks for
Thank you very much
was a
for
hanging
pleasure.
out with us
It's,
and hanging out with us all weekend. So
Yeah, since a week actually.
a little bit over than that.
We've been tagging along now for a week and a half. So it's been a while.
It's been a
very
fun
good
time.
It's been a fun
Really.
time.
I had
So,
a whole lot of fun.
Yeah.
Thank
So,
you very much
guys,
for having us.
You
Thank
know, I
you.
cut to the chase. These guys wouldn't be on the show if I didn't like the product. So I'll just leave it at that. If nobody else has anything else to say, you know what I'm gonna say. Stay safe, tread lightly, and hopefully I'll see you here or on a trail soon.
You have been listening to Waypoint Overland's Random Waypoints. Like, subscribe, and stay tuned for more.